Hey guys, Autofanatic. This is going to be the install video of the Centerline Alpha X-pipe replacement for the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. As you guys can see, I got the car securely up in the air on my wooden service stands. If you guys have been on my channel for the past 12 months, you see that I use these things for everything. It's much safer than jacking stands. This car has jacking pucks, 4 of them throughout the car. There's no pinch wells to crush, nothing like that. This is a much safer solution than trying to put this car up on jack stands right now. So we got the fully stainless X-pipe there, car up in the air. Let me go over to the workbench. I'll show you the quick tools, and we're going to try to knock this out as quick as possible because I wanted a little bit more sound. This is going to retain the original sound of the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which I like, but I just want 10 to 20%, a little bit more volume. So hopefully this will fit the bill. Otherwise, I'm going to have to rip out the full exhaust and do a complete exhaust from Super Sprint, Tubi, or Capisto. So let's go over to the workbench. I'll show you what we work. All right, guys, over on my workbench, these are the 2 stainless steel clamps that come in the kit for the front X-pipe. Got my Ingersoll titanium impact gun, my Ingersoll hammerhead 3/8 impact driver. I got a dead blow hammer. I got a little pry bar to remove the hangers on the front, 3/8 drive ratchet, 1/2 inch drive ratchet, torque wrench because I'm going to torque all the bolts on the clamps to 45 foot-pounds, which is recommended. 13mm, 15mm sockets. Gotta wear safety goggles. This is a must-have. These are the absolute best nitrile work gloves you will ever use. Venom steel. I'll put a link to this in the description. You guys got to pick them up. They do not rip. They do not disintegrate when you're working with chemicals. I saw these on the Velocity channel. One of the shows I was watching was using them, and these things are incredible. Then I got my AMSoil silicone spray just for the hangers. And we're just going to knock this out pretty quick. Alright guys, so here's the new X-pipe. It's all mandrel bent stainless steel, fully welded. It's got the flex joints. It's got new hanger rods welded in. And this is the Magnaflow designed X-pipe, which is going to change the exhaust scavenging on the car, and it's going to give it more volume. What's in the car now is a little mini suitcase type resonator. That's also to muffle the sound and also most likely to help with US emissions. And we don't want that. We want more sound because the car sounds incredible, and that's just what we're going after. So if you guys could see, there's the car up in the air, and like I mentioned earlier, there are jacking pucks. They're composite jacking pucks. There's 4 of them on this car. So getting this car up in the air with 2 floor jacks is a matter of 5 minutes. That's all you need. So you guys can see that there. Perfectly safe. And, you know, these wooden stands, I'll do a video on these one day. You can make these any size you want. For my body frame, that works. I could slide in and out pretty much any car. But if you're a bigger dude, you just got to add a little bit more wood and make them a little bit taller. But that's it. Car's safe. So we're going to get some lighting under there. I'm going to lay down my foam squares. And we're going to rip the original resonator X-pipe system off the car right now, so hang tight. Alright guys, we're under the car right now. This is the brace we're going to have to remove. So what I usually do whenever I take apart a new car, I always index and mark where things go. So I put a little X right here on the brace, and I put an X on the sound insulation. So when I put this back, because this could be elongated, this could be different sized on one end to the other, we don't know because that's how cars usually are. I also marked the bottom of the factory resonator as well, because the pipes have a certain bend, and just so you know the orientation of putting it back together. So we're going to just zip off these 13mm right here. Wow, these are actually small. So I don't think this is a real structural brace. Otherwise it would have had longer screws. And that's out of the way. Put that to the side. Make sure you don't lose the hardware. Now we're going to zip and loosen up all the clamps, front and right. Switch over to a 15mm. Just loosen these up. And that's just enough. These are actually welded to the factory mid pipes. So these clamps are not going to come off. The front clamps will come off. So you just want to make sure they're loose enough to get the pipe out. Now we're going to move the camera to the front of the car. Go slow, otherwise the bolt on the washer is going to go flying all over your garage, and you're not going to be able to find it. Next order of business, we're going to remove the 2 bolts for the hanger assembly because that's just going to make life a lot easier. And we're going to swap out the hanger on the floor before we try to bolt up the new X-pipe. So let's just get the other socket for that and we'll get started. All right, so switch tools. These are a 16 millimeter. Okay. See, working on a new car, it's great. Nothing is rusted and seized. That's that. So this assembly is loose. Let's go over to the driver's side. Okay. Now everything is loose, everything is disconnected. Now the fun part is going to be to get this sucker out of here in one shot. So I'm going to move everything out. I'm going to grab my dead blow hammer, and we're going to get this thing on the floor in about a matter of 5 minutes. All right, guys, finally got the OEM front resonator section of the exhaust off. You guys could see that is the little resonator. The sucker's pretty heavy, and here's the new one. So you can see it's made to fit, and we're going to transfer over the rubber isolators onto here right now, and we're going to use a lot of WD-40 inside the ID of the front and rear tubes, and we're going to get it into place. It took me about 15 minutes of hammering this out. Like I said, I just had to use a lot of WD-40 and just whacking it with the rubber mallet. You have to whack it over here, and you have to whack it over here by the hangers to get the front out, and then when you're in the back, you just take a piece of 2x4 and whack right back here, and you support the front of it with a jack stand or your leg, and it slides right out. So I'm just going to move stuff out of the way, and we're going to get this installed for you guys. Alright guys, before we attempt to start installing it, what I'm going to do is I am going to clean out the inside bore of the front and rear tubes, because there are some little flanges here from the pressing and the cutting. So I'm using one of these little guys on a mandrel on my cordless drill. I do a lot of fabrication of stainless steel tubing, and this is just what we do when we need to fit stuff together to do perfect seam welding, is always clean out the ID of the tubes. So let me just show you real quick, and it's relatively easy. So I'm going to go like that. Okay, so we're already in there. You see that? And that's going to ensure that any burrs are gone, and it's going to make a nice transition slip fit onto the OEM part. So now we're going to use the polishing mandrel. You know you're taking material off when you start to taste it, especially with stainless steel. So just a little tip I wanted to show you guys. Whenever you guys are doing exhaust systems by yourself, always, if you can, if you have the tools, clean out the ID of the tubes for a nice, smooth transition slip fit. So let's get this fitted onto the car right now. But clean out the inside bore, then we're going to spray some WD-40. It's going to slip right on, and it's going to be a lot smoother than taking out the OEM stuff that was, you know, pretty hard to get off. So the orientation of the exhaust hangers is up, just like the OEM. That's why I like to mark everything that comes off the car, just so you know when you put it back, you're going in the right direction. So let's get this thing fitted for you right now. Alright guys, we've pretty much got the new X-pipe on the car, and I'm just going to button up the clamps. I reduced the regulator on my compressor down to half of what it was, because I don't want to kill these. Pretty much got them on. We're going to do the backs now, and then we're going to go over these 45 foot-pounds with a torque wrench. So let's move over to the back, and then we're going to get the that cross member brace back on. Okay. Now these are welded onto the factory pipes, so they don't have to move. Just so. That's WD-40 coming out.
Okay, we're all tightened up there. So let me just get the cross brace mounted. I'm going to move to the other side, and then I'll give you a little quick view of the X-pipe mounted on the car. All right, guys, we got the torque wrench set to 45 foot-pounds, and we're going to torque all the clamps down. That's that. Okay, 45 foot-pounds. Let's go over to the front. Alright, so that's tight. Let's finish the other one, and I'll give you a little quick view of the exhaust, and we'll do a quick startup and sound demo.
That's it. So stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be a hell of a lot more content on this car and some more performance mods in the future. So I'll see you guys later.